And I'm back with you guys. Hey, how are you doing? I hope that you like the conclusion of the hero phase, and we're getting into the monster phase. So this is like a little intermission because there's so much going on, and I just want to touch base with you, as always, and keep you in the loop for everything that's happening. So I hope you enjoyed the hero phase. I have a little note sheet here so I don't forget stuff, and I'll try to be brief because I know you want to see the hero phase. So I hope you stick around because there's a lot of definitely good information in this little update. So let's get on with this. So the monster phase will be up next. And again, thank you for checking out this series. And I have to say, it's been incredibly well received. And I think so many people, maybe that were kind of iffy about Dungeon Crusade, have seen this played, and it's just more digestible now. So I think you can see I love playing this game. I was just dying to get back to it and play because I'm really enjoying this and hanging out with you and chatting with everyone. So it's all good. I'm happy you liked this series. And so, okay, next thing real quick. On turn one, as I said, I definitely wanted to chat about this. And because of this, I took some time to explain everything, as it would pop up. And I know a lot of people like that. So we're going to keep that format. However, when we move into turn two, it's going to be popping. We're going to keep moving on the stuff that we already explained. But when a new game mechanic comes up, I'll take the time like I did to explain it. But like the meat and potatoes was in turn one. So if you pretty much got this game. If you watch this is how you play the game. And there's a few other things, but this is a huge part of it. But when turn two starts, we're just going to go very briskly through it and up to the following videos because you already learned the game, most of it. And I want to say this too. I was chatting with Shalone Technomage, I love your name, and Andrew, that really, this hasn't even scratched the surface of what we did. But did you notice on turn one, we did accomplish a lot. And, there's just so much to do in Dungeon Crusade. So just don't worry. There is so much more that's going to be unfolding in the game. I think that's what this game is, that, you start out and it just keeps, getting bigger and more things are introduced. And I love that about it. So we have not even scratched the surface on what you are about to see. And then the other thing is, I wanted to chat with you about this Solo Crusader mode because there were some people that were kind of unsure about this and there was maybe some misconceptions. So I want to just get this all out here. And so, you're in the loop, you know what's going on. There were some people that thought the Solo Crusader was actually another board game. It's not. This is basically just another way to play Dungeon Crusade, okay? Like I said, I've already written the rule set for the Solo Crusader mode. I'm going over it with Ilpo and a few other people, and then I'm going to do the graphic design for the revised rulebook. So please know, this, it's the Solo Crusader mode is going to have its own section in the rulebook, and so I wanted people to know that this isn't like, a separate game or anything. When you get Dungeon Crusade, it's built into it, so you actually can play with multiple heroes, or you can play the Solo Crusader mode. It's just another way to experience the game. So I wanted to touch on that. Another thing I wanted to touch on about the Solo Crusader mode is that I'm going to be making some minor adjustments to even further the experience for you. And one of the things I'm going to do is, remember how Maheliak, or your starting hero, starts out with 1,000 gold, and then the villagers, you have that gratuity roll, as I call it, where you roll a d10. I love having different options in the game for this, so I'm very passionate about this. I want to have a table with difficulties, like 6 different difficulties that you could either roll on these tables or you could just select. And it'll be like our other 6 difficulties: novice, easy, normal, hard, expert, and master. And what I mean by that is that, Maheliak started out with 1,000 gold. Well, that might be the easy mode. So I'm going to have some other ones, or rather novice, where it will be attached to a roll of a d6 if you want to try that. where he may get less gold starting out in Solo Crusader, and there will be another table for the gratuity roll from the villagers. The same thing, on novice, you're going to roll a d10, and then as it gets harder, the die is going to be like a d10, d8, d6, and all that. So they're going to give you less gold. And I think people would like to have those options of, rolling a d6 to see how much gold their hero will start with and how generous the villagers are going to be. So I'm going to implement that and just a few other things to really give you the best experience with the Solo Crusader mode. And like I said, this mode, I have to say, really, the game took off with this mode, and I'm just very grateful, and so many people want to play that. And that brings me to my next subject. And I thought I'd give you some new scenery here. Of course, we're in the Chapel of Light South here. The other thing is, I just want you to know that in the Crusader upgrade kit, I know a lot of people have pledged for that. And so, of course, the revised rulebook is within that. And like I just said, the Solo Crusader rule set will have its own section within that rulebook. And also, you will be receiving the mini mercenary camp board like we were looking at. So in your Crusader upgrade kit, you will be getting this also. So I just wanted to point that out because people were asking me about it. So you are going to receive that. Also, I'm going to have the graphic design done for the Solo Crusader mode probably a few weeks out from now. That will be available for download for everyone who has the game now, because I'm dying for you guys to play it, and I know there is a lot of people who want to play this. So just know that rule set will be available for you for download, and of course the mercenary camp. So you will get to play this, check it out, and see what you think. So that is coming for you. Okay, and our next topic, I told you there was a lot in this update, and I just was very excited to get it out for you. Some of you know, some of you may not know, that we do have card sleeves available for the game. That Groovis Games Unlimited partnered with the very awesome Panda card sleeves for exclusive sleeves for all the cards in the game. There is a link in the description, and I'll put it in the comment section. So check this out. I want you guys to hear this so you know what's going on. You can go right to their website right now and purchase those. There's a whole pack. There's like over 1,000 sleeves at a very good price. They're just such a great company and people to work with. And I have that 10% coupon off so you can get that on your order. I know a lot of people have already ordered those, so I'm glad that we have those for you. So here's the thing. Some people, I was chatting with a few people on Board Game Geek and some of the other gaming groups with Dungeon Crusade, and they're overseas, and for some reason, they couldn't order them. So I reached out to the project manager, a very awesome gentleman from Panda Card Sleeves, and I'm going to have this in the description too. He said to please get a hold of them, send them a message, and they will get you added, and they will get you your sleeves, okay? And he explained that just because it was, this just went live a few days ago, they're still getting the shipping for the rest of the world and people in Europe. So rest assured that they will get you your sleeves. They're just such nice people. And so, we just want to make sure you're taken care of. If you want sleeves, we're going to get them for you. So check the description of this video or that comment, in the section down here. And there's the email, and just, request, tell them Roger sent you or whatever, and where you live, and they will work out getting your sleeves to you, okay? And I think that was it about that. Yeah. So we're going to move on to just one more thing, and this is something I was very passionate about. So hopefully you check this out. Let's go over to the battle table, as we call it. Okay, so look out. This is a straight from the heart from Roger. And I hope that you watch this and kind of take this with you into all the games you play. And I've always thought this ever since I was young until now. And I think what I'm about to tell you adds tremendously to the fun factor of these fantasy adventure, definitely dungeon crawl games. And it's about dice, and to me, what they represent, and maybe what they could represent to you, or get a visual of what I'm about to tell you. So no matter if it's a D20 in Dungeons and Dragons, or like those adventure board games, which I have some of those and I love, Dungeon Crusade, Warhammer Quest 95, Kingdom Death Monster, whatever. If you're rolling dice, I want to tell you what I think, no matter what game it is. And I'm going to use this example here with this quite cool warrior figure and our friendly Minotaur. Let's just say that mythical warfare, since you know what these are. Remember that battle we were just doing with the Keeper of the Faith, and it was tough, and some people were talking, I was talking to a few people about that in the comment section, and I'm going to go into a part 2 kind of about Dungeon Crusade and just share some information, but I definitely want to talk to you about this and just carry this with you. When you roll dice in these games, and we'll just use Dungeon Crusade, okay? Since you know what this is, we roll. That's actually a really good roll, and that's perfect. See how there's a 12 and a 5? That's 17. To me, to make it more thematic, and I think it adds to the fun factor, that's a massive hit, right? I always visualize when it's like a roll like this, and like my hero's going to attack, that's like a huge swing. If I can kind of do this, but like I would picture that it's a really huge swing that the hero made, and maybe caught the monster off guard, to score a big hit like that. So one thing is, these dice in any kind of these games represent a hero swinging a weapon, shooting a bow, shooting a crossbow, casting a spell, how their footing was, how gracefully they swung the weapon, so on and so forth. But also these dice represent the monsters, like I just said. Like if he's attacking, maybe he caught this Minotaur off guard, and that's why he had this huge hit. Where, say it was something like this, a terrible roll, maybe he lost his footing and the Minotaur knocked him before he swung, resulting in a low roll. Do you see what I'm saying about that? So I know it makes it more thematic, but to me, when I think of these dice, or any dice I play, that's what dice mean to me. How well a hero swung, maybe their footing, how they approached a monster. Did the monster defend it? Maybe he caught the monster off guard when, with a massive hit like that. So that's just what I wanted to share with you. To me, what dice mean in these kind of games, especially dungeon crawl games. So I just thought that's good information. Next time you play Sword and Sorcery or Warhammer Quest or Dungeons and Dragons, just kind of think of what I said. That die roll represents many factors between combatants, and maybe casting a spell. If you had to roll a d20 to cast a spell, if it fizzled or it was cast. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And lastly, just like those, remember the ghostly skulls from the Keeper of the Faith when Sir Brennus, I was looking at him thinking of Sir Brennus, but Zeke and Maheliak had to bat them with their strength. That could, to me, that's I honestly visualize that, like these ghostly skulls coming out of this book, and they're trying to bat them out of the way. Where on those low rolls, it hit them and drained them of essence and did damage. So that's what I wanted to share with you, and I hope you didn't mind me taking the time to do that, but I felt compelled to do it, and you guys know if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. But I think, lastly, I just think it helps the fun factor, to escape into these worlds and these games. And to me, what dice rolls mean to me. I should make a separate video about this. Take this and put it out there. So I hope you enjoy that. Think about that next time you play. And let's move on to one of the last things now. Okay, and then I definitely want to tell you this, and again, I'm very passionate about this, and just to kind of let you know, see inside my mind of what I like and the experience that I'm trying to do at Dungeon Crusade, and maybe something for you to consider when you play these games. Where do I start with this? In Dungeon Crusade, since we're playing this, and I'm going to refer to some other games, but like when you start out, you start out with just a level 1 hero. You have nothing. You have a hero card, and you start out with a gray starting weapon, like Mahaliak's Primordial Axe. Just does +1 damage. There's no buff to any kind of warfare. It's just a plain old Primordial Axe. That's it. Well, they get counterattack. We'll talk about this, but they have one special ability, if you want to call it that, where they have counterattack. But besides that, that's it. I like that. I love any game that does this. You start out with nothing. And through the experience of the game, you use, your planning of how you want to build your hero, how you want to spec them out. Nothing's just given to you besides some starting gold at the beginning of the game. Or you could start with no gold. But my point is this battle right here. And what I was chatting with Andrew and Shallow and Technomage about. That was, yes, I did have some bad dice roll, and let's go back to what I just talked about. But there were some good dice rolls there. And I think it was very appropriate what happened to them. It was a very tough battle. They're level 1 heroes. Okay. They had they have these 2 good starting weapons, but there was really nothing to boost up their values with. That was very appropriate what happened to that. And I love that about this game, because it just showed you in this, they went up against an elite level 2 champion monsters, and it was tough for them. They had to quaff both their healing potions. I love that. And like when I was going about being level 1 and starting with nothing, I love the Dark Souls series. It's brutal, it's hard, but the thing about that game is that people don't get past that. There's an armor where you can spec out your hero. You can inject them. You have to find Titanite. And I'm going to be referencing Dungeon Crusade. But, in that game, the Diablo games, you start with nothing and you build your hero up. It's the same with Dungeon Crusade. So my point being this. Okay, they did have they had those great starting weapons, right? Had they had Zeke, if we would have revealed this, that Angel of Luck could have helped with maybe a strength test, right? Because, this is what she provides, +2 to strength. If Mahaliak had Intimidating Shout, if he would have leveled up and made himself a little bit better, this definitely would have helped. If Zeke was more prepared, these are some of his level 1 special abilities. Flaming Orb, that would have helped, because this is used in a chamber. This could have helped. Definitely Magic Missile. Arcane Barrier, where it protects a hero with like a bubble around them. This would have helped them. And of course, we're not going to go through all this. Hopefully I can get this on camera. This is the loot that's in the blacksmith. If they had some gear, like I'm trying to put this all in here, but if they had some gear, necklaces, rings, like that ring, ruby ring, and then I grabbed some of the green stuff, armor. You get the point, right? Rings, moving up. So my point is, and actually, lastly, show you how deep this game is, which we're going to get to. These are the recipe cards where you can make prowess gems. Remember we talked about socket weapons, so you can plug power gems into it? Well, these are the recipe cards, so you can make these prowess gems that give, let me show you one of the gems, that these kind of plug in. You slide it underneath the card where the socket is, so you can add buffs to your hero's weapons. And you get that with these. These are from mining, which we're going to do some mining very soon here. But these are the precious stones, like Zoltanite and Moonstone, and there's Iolite, and there's Ruby Stone and Amethyst. There's this Sunstone and Obsidian. So anyway, my point being, yes, you started at level 1. Had they had some of that and they would have fought this, the battle would have been much better because they would have been more prepared. Hopefully you see what I'm saying by that. So, yes, that was a tough battle, but that's what I just wanted to point out. Had we maybe waited a few turns to get some of those special abilities or some gear, it would have been much different. And then tie in what I said about the dice roll. Thinking of it thematically with, I want to go back to it, but what, with the result of the dice, with all those factors. So hopefully I made sense of what I was trying to get out for you. But if anything to take away from this, just remember, watch as these, as Mahalik and Zeke, as we go through the game and they start getting more better special abilities, and they start getting power gems and better gear, so on and so forth. You're going to see them go from, this hero that started with just a gray weapon up to, a really awesome hero with just special abilities and power gems and just all of that stuff. So hopefully I made sense with all of that. But I just wanted to touch on this stuff. Okay, let's wrap this up. And as a surprise and a bonus, at the start of turn 2, before we start playing, I am going to enable traps. I am having such an awesome time playing with you guys, and the holidays and all this. I'm going to enable traps, and we're going to go about how to set this up. It's a really kind of creative game mechanic I came up with for this. I think you'll enjoy it. So traps are coming in turn 2. And before we go back over there and wrap it up, I started thinking about it, and I think that we are going to incorporate, remember these, there's the expert difficulty monster decks, and there is the heroic difficulty. I think we're going to add these into normal difficulty so we won't know what we're fighting, and I think people would like to see this. And so I'm really going to have to spec out our mercenary and hero if these guys are coming in. So we may do that in turn 2. Okay, we're going to wrap this up here. And the last thing I had to say is we're going to stay tuned for the monster phase. After the monster phase, I definitely have to get out the next Kickstarter update for everyone, because there is just so much information that, of course, we want to keep them in the loop. So that'll just take me, 4 or 5 hours to do usually, because I put out some hefty updates for everyone. And then just get right back into turn 2. And lastly, because I almost forgot about this, at the start of the monster phase, this is the brand new track that I included on the Dungeon UI board. Yes, Crusader upgrade kit, you're getting this. It's going to be a decal from when I talked to the manufacturer. So this will be a decal. And I did the graphic design for this so it matches the Dungeon UI board, which is right over there. Actually, I'm going to take you over there so you can see it. It goes very nicely on there. So we're going to chat about this. And it's just, I wanted to give the minions more of an AI for their movement. So we're going to have some fun with that. Guys, I think there's a lot to look forward to. I hope you're enjoying this. So stay tuned for the monster phase. We're going to have some fun with that. And this game is really going to get cooking in turn 2. Thank you, guys. Happy holidays. I love you. I'm glad you're enjoying this video series, because I am just having an awesome time playing it with you. Have a great day, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.